felt two things at the same time, pride and uncertainty. That went well, I think. But also, did it really? How could it have been better? That space between what we think we did and what we actually did is where growth either happens or disappears. And the tool that decides which direction we go is evaluation. Tonight I want to talk about evaluations not as feedback, not as critique, but as a bridge between potential and performance. Because without evaluation, potential remains just that, potential, unshaped, unrefined, untested. But with effective evaluation, potential becomes performance, and performance becomes excellence. So let me take you back to something we've all experienced. You prepare a speech, you rehearse, you think about the opening line, you try to manage your timing, your gestures, your message, and you prepare, you step on the stage. Your heart is racing, but you deliver. Afterwards, someone says, "Good job." And you smile. But deep down, you're still wondering, what exactly did I do well? What could I have done better? And that's where evaluation steps in. Not as judgment, but as a source of clarity and insight. Because vague praise feels good, but precise feedback makes you better. A strong evaluation does three things. First, it reflects reality. Not the reality we imagined, but the reality we created on stage, in meetings and conversations. It shows us our habits, both helpful and harmful, clearly without distortion. Second, it builds awareness. Most of us don't lack effort. We lack awareness. We don't always realize when we rush our words, when we avoid eye contact, when our message is powerful but buried under hesitation. Evaluation holds up a mirror. We cannot hold up ourselves in that moment. And third, it offers direction. Not just what happened, but what's next. Because feedback without direction is just noise. And feedback with direction becomes a roadmap. Now I want to be honest about something. Many people fear evaluations. They hear feedback and they think, I'm being judged. And when people feel judged, they do one of two things. They either become defensive or they stop trying to improve altogether. But here's a shift that changes everything. Evaluation is not about ranking people, it's about refining performance. Let's think about a sculpture. A sculptor doesn't see failure in a block of marble. They see a shape waiting to come out. Every chisel is not punishment, it's purpose. Every strike is not rejection, but progress. And that is what a great evaluator does. They don't break people down, they bring potential out. And if you think about it, every great performer in any field has benefited from evaluation. Athletes have coaches, musicians have conductors, doctors have peer reviews. Even the most experienced professionals rely on someone else to say, this is working and this could be stronger. Because self-improvement in isolation has limits. We cannot see all of our blind spots. We cannot hear our tone the way others hear it. We cannot always measure the impact of our presence on others. That's why evaluation is not optional in growth, it is essential. But here's the deeper truth. The power in evaluation is not only in receiving it, but also in giving it. When you become an evaluator, something shifts. You stop listening passively and you start listening intentionally. You begin to notice structure, clarity, emotion, engagement, and in doing so, you don't just help others improve, you improve yourself. Because evaluation trains the mind to see excellence in real time. It sharpens your awareness, it builds empathy, it strengthens communication, and perhaps most importantly, it builds connection. Because a thoughtful evaluation says to someone, I saw you, I paid attention, and I want you to succeed. In a world where people often feel invisible, that is very powerful. So how do we build this bridge? Let me offer 3 simple principles. First, be specific. You did great. Rather, your opening story created immediate engagement. Precise feedback fuels growth. Second, balance honesty with encouragement. Truth without kindness feels harsh. Kindness without truth feels empty. But together, they build trust. And third, focus on growth, not perfection. We are not trying to create flawless speakers. We are trying to create better speakers than we did yesterday. Because improvement is not a destination, it is a direction. And let me close with this final thought. Every time someone steps up to speak, they are taking a risk. A risk to be seen, a risk to be heard, a risk to be evaluated. And every time we evaluate them well, we honor that risk. We turn vulnerability into strength. We turn experience into learning. We turn potential into performance. So the next time you receive an evaluation, don't just hear it, absorb it. And the next time you give one, don't just deliver it, but shape it with care. Because in exchange, something powerful happens. A bridge is built. And across that bridge, people don't just improve, they transform. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. What a wonderful, wonderful sharing of a wealth of pearls of wisdom, I call it. I like what you said, from potential to performance to excellence. So I will give an opportunity for anyone to ask a quick question of our guest speaker, or you can post it in our chat group and we will pick it up later. So anyone ready to ask a quick question for our special guest? Going once, going twice. All right, we will save that for later. And now, folks that are Speechcraft participants, tonight we'll do Icebreaker. Icebreaker is a short introduction of themselves to the club to tell us a little bit about herself or himself, and will show potential. So, our first speaker is actually in the medical field, an oncologist. Dr. Danya, are you ready? Give me a nod. All right. Let's give a big round of applause to Dr. Danya.